hold this up anymore. Let's get underway. The inaugural game of Swedish Brood War Initiative's Team League. I'm pretty excited. How are you feeling?
I'm quite excited. I will let you do the intros as I add in player names onto this liquid overlay. I'm still a little slow with that.
All right. In the top right, as the red Terran player, we have Gilo representing Team AoV. And in the bottom right-hand corner, as yellow, playing as another Terran player, we did have a TVT to start off the day. It is Vadi. We weren't quite sure. For some reason, I had in my head that Vadi at one point race picked away from TVT and
Yeah, I
played
was thinking that
TVT.
too.
But I'm excited about this. TVT is a fun matchup, and it
Yeah.
gets a bad rap, especially coming from in the twilight years of really serious Korean Brood War. You did see a lot of TVTs over and over again, and it can get tiresome to see it over and over again. But it was my favorite matchup because it's so tactical. There's so many decisions you have to make, and every minor decision plays a really big role.
And that's
It's
how I've always felt. TVT has always been one of my favorite matchups to watch, and it's pretty fun to play. But so I've never understood why people are like, "Oh, TVT's bad." I'm like, "No, dude, it's super awesome."
it, I think of all the matchups, TVT is the worst to watch when you don't know what's going on. Because if you don't understand why the tanks just made two lines and are sitting there and what the players are doing behind them, then I can totally understand why people see it's boring. But after you've watched Brood War for a while and start to get the swing of it, start to the movements that the two players are doing, and start to like really get into all the dropship, mostly the dropship micro, it's fascinating. Absolutely brilliant matchup.
And it's a really strategic matchup too. It's like they say, it's the probably the closest Brood War parallel to chess.
Right.
But it has the fast-paced aspects of Brood War, the mechanics and the multitasking and the real-time aspects. But at the same time, it's really deeply strategic. And there's a lot of times in TVT, you're not attacking your opponent; you're attacking for position or space on the map, which is pretty different than most of the other matchups in Brood War.
Yeah, absolutely love that. And speaking of that, actually, I want to talk about the map.
Yeah, I just revealed the map,
Uh,
so let's talk about it. It's a new map. I think it's a Brood War MN map, if I remember correctly.
right, and it's called Oxide. And at first glance, you kind of get that. You kind of get that match point vibe of it being a two-player map. There's a clear division to it, and there are two high ground pods that really seems to be conducive in the same way Matchpoint is to really establishing positional. It's all about the positioning. Can you control the high ground pod? Can you take their high ground pod? Are you going to lose your high ground pod? How are you able to expand around that? Which is the best kind of map for a TBT because, as we both said, the things we like about the TBT is how you have to control space a lot more than the other matchups. And when you have a map like like your Benzenes, like your Match Point, like your Oxide, it really, really matters in all matchups, but especially TBT. So I'm excited to have a TBT on this map, and I'm hoping that this map makes as many good games as Matchpoint does, because Matchpoint is my personal favorite map. I absolutely love Matchpoint.
I also want to mention I haven't seen the what the mains are used. That I mean, this tile set, the Matchpoint tile set, but I haven't seen this stuff used. It reminds me of what was the old school map, Blitz X, I think it was. Had that kind of look. So it's been a long time since I've seen these ramps and that style of the map architecture. So that's kind of cool to see being brought back.
It's always nice.
So let's see.
It's
I was just taking a look at what players we got. Glio throwing down his command center. Same thing for Vadi. Vadi is not made of Vulture. Glio has made a Vulture. Vadi's going to go straight for his machine shop.
Yeah, and that's the only difference between the two players right now is the decision to get a machine shop over getting a vulture. Other than that, has been the same barracks timing, same gas timing, same expansion timing. So we're seeing very similar builds here, but first vulture's going to come in, two marines in the bunker, make it really hard for the vulture to run by. You
Yeah.
could have gone for a bluff there, only put one in, but you're risking letting the vulture in, and it's just it's an unnecessary risk. You might be able to get away with it, but it's 50 minerals that's protecting your entire production here, especially when you don't have a
Oh,
vulture.
Vulture is going to
Right?
pick off Vadi's scouting SCV, but Vadi also has a barracks on the way. Although that'll still be a little while before it gets there.
All right.
And it looks like second factory from Glio, and Vadi's still on one factory getting his first siege, or second siege tank, and just starting his siege mode. and mines being researched for Glio as vultures are continuing to be produced.
Actually, interesting. Interesting from Vadi. He's going for a fast armory. You don't see that too terribly often. Usually you only see the fast armory when you're planning on going for Goliaths, either some kind of really old school weird Goliath timing, or because you're really expecting your opponent to go for Wraiths. You want to shut that down. Now, he hasn't had the scouting because his SCV got picked off by the Vulture. So he might be doing it just because he's scared of the Wraiths. It's not as if he has an eBay or turrets. It's way too soon for that in this matchup. But I'm curious to see if the armory is for something else. If it was just to defend against the possibility of Wraiths, or whether he does have some kind of weird +1 timing coming, which would be really strong.
And oh, look at that. Vadi is taking no chances with these vultures. He's got a little SimCity wall there, and he's also got his 2 tanks right in the hole, so he's not letting those vultures run in at all, especially knowing what a pain those mines would be. He doesn't have any detection to deal with them right now, and not a large enough tank mass that he can just A-move through minefields. Although now he's going to go ahead and siege up a few at the front. And of course, that's another thing. Most of the time in other matchups as Terran, if you siege up your tanks, you siege them up back in the natural, defend the choke. But in TVT, if you siege up in your natural and the other guy has siege tanks, well, he just sieges outside with way better position. And oh, that was cute. I don't know if you guys were watching that. But Vadi just used his Marines to draw the mines up, and then the siege splash from the tank went ahead and took the mines out. So he's clearing the mines out from his natural. Does not lose any Marines doing it, so a nice little cute play there from Vadi.
I like it. I like it.
Got an academy from Glio, who is also getting his first armory. And it's worth noting, Vadi has pretty much sent that armory to use here. He just now started his +1 attack upgrade. So that will give Vadi faster upgrades, and if it comes to it, Vadi will hit that all-important... Oh, Vadi running into some mines! Whoa, oh, one big mine hit. That's going to soften all the tanks, so suddenly they are all really squishy. Obviously did not expect mines to be over there. And there are still a few more mines out here. If he runs into one more mine, he would lose all of his tanks. He's going to be very careful here.
Yeah, that's a big hit. He was working with a little bit of a numbers disadvantage just because the second factory was late.
And here we got a massive vulture run by, but they're kind of getting stuck on the bunker. And now it looks like 4 have gotten into the main. How many mines do they have left? We're going to find out. A few are being laid. I don't know if there's a ton, though, because not that many mines being laid. Looks like there's only 1. There is a tank out, so he's going to be relatively safe. These vultures are low on health. He's going to be careful of these mines, and it's going to get cleaned up pretty easily. So as long as he doesn't run into this mine here, life will be good.
Very close. He almost ran into that first mine, barely able to kill it off before it exploded on his tanks.
And it looks like his 3 tanks did make it back safely. They're being repaired now.
Yeah, disaster averted there. That's such an easy way to lose the game very quickly. Oh.
Ooh, Goliath took the mine? Yeah, Goliath ate it. 1 health Goliath.
Such an easy way to lose the game quickly is to let that number of vultures into your base, but he was able to get rid of them rather quickly, did not sustain many SCV casualties at all. And now, feeling a little bit confident after taking out a decent number of vultures, that was 8 or 10 of them.
I think it was 10 that tried to run by. It was like 7 that got in. A few died getting stuck on the bunker. Now we might have a little bit of... Oh, a mine goes up because it looks like it didn't do anything. And now Vadi coming out here with about 5 tanks and a few reinforcing Goliaths. It's going to be kind of a scary army, though, because it's been only vultures for so long from Glio. But he does have a few tanks now, sieging up on the high ground. With 3 of them. Are there 2 routes? No, it looks like this is the only route you can walk on the map. Vadi's going to walk right into this, and he's just going to try to walk up the ramp. No, he's going to pull back now. He's sieging up, but he is sieging on the low ground. But he throws up a scan. I don't know how badly damaged his tanks are. He's going to get rid of one of them. And, of course, Glio is trying to set up his 3rd base as he does this. Vadi also doing the same. It looks like there might be a mine there. His command center can't seem to land. And Vadi charges up the ramp. There we go. You can see him inching forward with siege, and he will take down that tank on the high ground. And he is just going to try to push right through this. He's not currently reinforcing it, but he does have 3 tanks and about 3 Goliaths back at the natural.
There's a cute little move there. Sending the SCV up first meant that both of the first 2 shots from the tanks hit the SCV instead of the more valuable tanks behind it.
Oh, a little bit of miscontrol there from Vadi as his tanks wander down.
That was too much. Yeah, alright. But now he has the high ground, and it's going to cost... it's going to cost Red a little bit of forces here to try to break this. And this is what I meant by positioning. Avadi making a very aggressive first move and trying to take really, really aggressive positioning here. And we're going to see if it's able to pay off. Oh, loses one more tank, only one left. But as you said, he's not reinforcing it, so it looked like it might be for naught here.
Yeah, I think he's decided to give up this. He's just trying to focus on getting his own third base set up, and some vultures laying some mines outside the third right now. Tanks get into the little choke there to the third. Gonna be able to clear these vultures out. Just gotta be careful not to wander into any mines. Oh, and vultures are gonna mine up that final tank of Vadi, and Glio's gonna get his side of the map cleared out.
Looking at a quick factory count, we have, excuse me, in the top left we have 5 factories, in the bottom right we have 4 factories, but Vadi does have his starport with control tower online and is building his first dropship, which is really going to open up a lot of possibilities to him. As you said, this does seem like a really big choke. There is one other really small ramp over far towards the natural that you can get up into the majority of these 2 players' bases. But mostly, if you feel like if you control your high ground pod, you're very safe. And that safety only lasts as long as the opponent doesn't have a dropship. Once the dropship, all bets are off. In terms of your static defense, you're going to need to have a lot more spread out units. You're going to need to have a lot quicker reaction.
Got a dropship out from Vadi heading towards the bottom left-hand corner of the map, and some vultures just laying some mines on those low ground pods. Actually, there's a lot of tanks with this, so Glio looks like he's going to go for some sort of attack here. And he's trying to come that back ramp, but Vadi's going to catch him on the low ground, and this is a horrible position for Glio. I think these tanks are just going to go down no problem. The vultures can't even get up the ramp for support as they are blocked by the tank on the ramp. And the drop from Vadi now going down in the third base of Glio. The tank is not yet sieged up as Vadi is busy with the combat in other areas. But he is killing some SCVs off, and Glio is going to send some vultures, try to mine this up and get rid of it. But all in all, that was not a very good attack from Glio, as he basically just gave away some of those tanks. Vultures laying tons of mines, but the tank firing, target firing from Vadi is pretty good, but I think eventually one of these mines are going to go off, and there we go. The drop is cleaned up. Damage from that actually relatively small.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to lose that missile turret to the burning damage. And, yeah, a little bit of a questionable attack. A little bit of a questionable attack trying to go up that small ramp. It's just, historically, every map that has a small ramp, they're always just absolute meat grinders in terms of trying to get your units up there. It's so hard to do if the opponent has any inkling that it's going to happen. And Body already had siege tanks up in position. The ramp was blocked. Siege tank versus siege tank. High ground, it's relevant, but not as relevant as some other matchups. The really big factor there was the fact that his siege tanks blocked the ramp. So the vultures couldn't get in and start laying mines, start detracting fire. And then when you combine that with the high ground advantage, it was just no contest.
And now we can see Vadi is loading up a lot of dropships. It's going to be 4 complete dropships. I wonder if he's going to try to just go directly drop the third base and take it out, or maybe drop into the main on the factories. And another thing that's worth noting is TVT tends to be a lot about the gas mining and less about the minerals. And Glio has a lot of gas right now because he started out with all those vultures and he's been making pretty much constant vultures. And oh, Vadi's going to fly right over the 4th command center of Glio going up. So assuming he's paying attention to the minimap at all, yes, and he is going to notice it. But Vadi's going to drop here, siege up, going to take this out for sure. The tank siege is later for Glio, and there's more from Vadi. So Vadi will take these tanks out from Glio pretty easily. In fact, I think Vadi took 0 casualties from that, and of course forces the cancel on the command center as well. Looking at upgrades, we can see it's 1-1 for Vadi, 1-0 for Glio. But Vadi is not working on that lovable +2 attack that allows you to kill siege tanks in 2 shots versus 3 with your own sieged tanks.
Yeah. Does he have the science? No, he does have the science facility.
He does, but he's
so that,
not started the plus.
There
oh,
we
he
go,
just started it. Yeah.
Yeah, that absolutely should be a priority. One of the most important upgrades in all of StarCraft, really, is that +2 attack upgrade in a TVT matchup. It's just so critical.
Glio is nailing scans right now. He's nailed like 3 times in a row. He's correctly scanned, so he's just anticipating Vadi's dropship movements perfectly and is all over this so far. But now it looks like Vadi's going to head to the main with these dropships.
not a whole lot of defenses here. There are some tanks unsieged in the relative vicinity, but it looks like, oh, this is going to be a pretty substantial drop here. Oh, he's bypassing
All
the natural
way to
completely,
the
but he's flying
main,
into turrets.
At least
Losing
one dropship has gone down, and the tanks are sieging up, but oh god, all kinds of reinforcements spawning for Vadi, or for Glio, who is all over. This drop is annihilated, and every single dropship lost. That was an absolute disaster. I mean, that was like a combination of trying to fly over 2 or 3 turrets, with Glio noticing, and the perfect timing of units coming out of the factories to siege up and take care of that drop.
Man, watching that drop go in, I was just thinking, oh man, this looks so awesome. And then he flew right over the natural into more turrets, and I was like, oh god, this looks so terrible. I think that he could have done a lot. The timing for when the units are coming out of the factory was unfortunate. That he was going to have to deal with that, but I think that if he just dropped behind the natural and sieged up, he was going to be able to do a significant amount of damage. It was going to take near just as many forces as Vadi committed to it to dig them out on the opposing side. But man, that's a pretty substantial blow here, and I would be looking for Red to somehow take advantage of the situation, either really pushing a 4th, maybe even a 5th expansion,
Players drop
just
ships,
some
seeing each other.
there.
4 for Glio, 3 for Vadi. Vadi drops first. This will probably be good for Glio, who has 1 more dropship worth of stuff, although there's a higher tank count in Vadi's, and a few Goliaths are walking around doing nothing, trying to kill the turret. But it looks like Glio is still going to come out of this ahead. Kills all of Vadi's ground forces with minimal losses of his own, and obviously Vadi's going to have to cancel that command center. So now Glio's going to have about 5 bases to Vadi's 3. Although, I don't know, one of his bases actually has gas.
He's not canceling the command center?
Not so far. I think he said, yeah, there we go. It's canceled. He got,
No, I don't.
wait, did
I don't
he
think
get the
he
minerals back? Or maybe I didn't notice.
I think he forgot to cancel it.
Whoops. So 400 minerals in the tank for Vadi then. And we can see Glio now has a really nice supply lead. These drops have been pretty good for him. Vadi getting quite far behind, at least in terms of supply. But even more concerning, like I said, it's it looks like 4 gases for Glio against 3 for Vadi, which is a bit unfavorable. And it's 5 bases. Now there's not a contain yet, so Vadi can still establish other bases. But man, Glio has a pretty scary army right now. It looks like almost 2 control groups of tanks with some Goliaths mixed in. And Vadi doing a drop at Glio's 5th base, the gas base. Lots of vultures there, and Glio's going to have to take his army to defend this. He's coming in from both sides, sieging up tanks, Goliaths from the high ground. This should clean it up pretty easy, especially since he's coming down from the high ground. And it's just a lot of units from Glio as he crushes through what Vadi had. Only loses about 10 supply during that attack.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about it before. +2 attack is really nice, but when your opponent's outnumbering you 4-1, not quite enough to turn it around. So Vadi, gonna lose some more vultures here. They're going in for a little bit of harass. I don't think they're gonna be able. No, they might be able to get this tank with the mines.
Looks like they will. Oh nope.
Oh,
The mines self-blowing themselves up.
So, yeah, I like the way Glito's playing this. He understands he has an advantage, and he's making sure that Vadi continues to trade with him. Because the more trading that's happening, Vadi is just slowly but surely falling more and more behind. So
now it looks like Glio wants to go for a big attack, and he is rushing in here. He's got a lot of tanks, but so does Vadi. Vadi a little slower on the siege, but a lot of Glio stuff is in the wrong side of the map. Lots of Goliaths going down almost for free. Not really killing any tanks, and now the tank count looks relatively equal, but Glio's kind of streaming in reinforcements from all sides, but at some weird angles. Vadi holding on for the moment.
Yeah, that should not have been a win for Vadi, but I think it was there.
Yeah,
he brought in all his tanks and they clumped up, which is very dangerous to do in a TVT, because it means that your tanks get splashed down and they're a lot easier to kill off. You want to try to spread out your tanks as much as possible, but then again keep them close so that they're all able to shoot, because if tanks aren't shooting,
oh no! A transfer of SCVs from Vadi gets obliterated going down the small ramp as there's 3 tanks from Glio siege at the base of the small ramp, so Vadi's going to be unable to saturate his base at the bottom left. Which is no good. I mean, okay, he at least has the SCVs there to produce gas, or to mine gas, and he's got max queuing going on right now to try to do something about that. Lots of dropships loaded up for Vadi. Although the army of Glio is really, really expansive here. It's spread out over a large area, which is going to make it hard to be effective with dropships alone. A lot of times, though, you'll see dropships used in conjunction. You'll attack with some of your ground army, moving that into siege range and sieging up, and then also at the same time dropping with the dropships. But it looks like Vadi's just going to take off with his little fleet. Oh, no, maybe not. Maybe not. Oh, but he's flying over Goliaths. There's only 3, but 3 Goliaths have long range and do good damage, and they do kill 1 dropship.
Yeah. Vadi's really looking for a way back into this, but throwing away units like that it's just going to make it really hard. He's behind by about 50 supply here, with Guido being at max. The one thing he does have is essentially a hidden base in the bottom left. I don't think that Guido knows about it, because otherwise it would just be really easy for him to take out.
His tanks did kill the SCVs coming down the ramp being transferred, but he may have not been paying attention to that at the time. Oh, now he knows. There was something red of Glio heading over to the bottom left, and it just got obliterated by a siege tank. So he definitely knows now. And now we've got Vadi trying to come down the ramp here. He's bringing dropships over, but they're just kind of chilling. They need to drop if they're going to do something. Actually, there's nothing really there for them to drop on. Glio bringing some units over here to his 5th base, high ground, to shoot at the low ground for Vadi. And still kind of ignoring that bottom base, although it is pretty well defended. 3 tanks. It almost looks like a base that's designed to defend against recalls. But I guess getting a mass drop is pretty similar to a recall. Oh, Vadi's going to siege on the low ground. A little risky here, but he's going to kill a lot of SCVs for sure. Actually, Glio's reaction's okay. Gets about half of them away.
Very nice, very nice. Any engagement where Vadi doesn't lose anything is a good engagement for him. He cannot be afford to go toe-to-toe with Guido's army, but it's moving now. Heading in, just charging straight forward into Vadi's territory, but Vadi's forces, most of them are in the dropship or
He's
defending
going for
the
this with an
hidden
A move.
base.
Now we go, finally sieging up, and yeah, Glio trying to take advantage of the fact that Vadi is on a different spot of the map. He's harassing this mineral-only base, but you know, he just can lift it and it's fine. And he is trying to push all the way down into the natural choke of Vadi. It looks like Vadi's going to hold on for the moment, especially as more... Actually, do these dropships? No, they don't have units in them, so that's kind of useless. And Vadi's going to try to push his way further up Glio's base, but 1 siege tank remains. Could take out all of... Oh, nope. Guys, too soon. Oh, but Glio has found a way into Vadi's 3rd base, which is his... Oh, okay, he's got sort of 1 mining base over at the bottom left, but he's going to kill all the SCVs here. They're not even going to try to fight the Goliath. He's just going to mine it out.
Yeah. And he's going to lose that base. Main's mined out. Natural's mined out. Mineral only isn't taken right now. It means that the hidden base is the only mining base for Vadi right now. And I think that this supply deficit, that's just going to be too much for him.
Yeah, it is. And his last few tanks here are soon going to be taken out as Glio is creeping his way down the high ground to obliterate those. He's actually got 1 Goliath right-clicked onto the command center, but I think that Glio is going to get down before the command center actually dies, or he'll just move the command center away. Glio unable to snipe the command center at the 3 o'clock position, but still he's killed all the SCVs there and forced to lift, and he's also taken the top right base, so that's pretty good for him. Looks like we might see 1 last drop here from Vadi. I see 4 dropships moving around the map. But Glio has pretty good map position now. He's got Vadi's access to most bases blocked off, and all he really has to worry about now is this bottom left base, and Vadi just doesn't have a lot of stuff at this point.
Yeah. So,
and here comes the drop. He's trying to get rid of it. Is it going to be enough? No, his ground forces aren't moving in, so I don't think it's going to be enough. The tanks are pretty well spread out. And there we go. Vadi's ground forces are coming now. He'll just barely clean it up. So he does reestablish the position. He can go back and take that 3rd base. I think he saved the command center, although I don't see it. Never mind, he just flew it way, way far away. So he can reestablish his 3 o'clock base, although that is very near mined out as well.
Yeah. This might have been movement just to try to take the mineral only. I mean, gas is the more important resource, but a base is a base, I guess. And yeah, it looks like that is. It's just movements to try to push. Yeah, to push Gilo back just enough to set up that command center. But here comes the next wave, and this, jeez, overwhelming. It's 2-2 versus 1-1 upgrade advantage in Vadi's favor, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
And Glio coming in with another attack again. He's at this point he's not even sieging. He's like, there's only 3 tanks. I am just going to A move this, and it is going to crumble. And I don't think there's gonna be enough. Now Vadi sieges. I can't tell what qualifies here as low ground, high ground difference, but it's just too much stuff from Glio. Vadi is getting wrecked at this position. He cannot hold it. His supply is now half of Glio's, and I think we're gonna see there it is. GG.
All right.
Rank Vadi has hit B+, I know was Zerg. I don't know what he's hit for Terran. I want to say he might be like 1 grade lower. I think he says he's not quite as good as at Terran as he is at Zerg, so maybe B+ Terran, and I don't know about Glio. The only thing I wish I could figure out is why this liquid overlay disappears between games. It seems like I have to start it up again. And Epoxide says he can understand why Glio is ace. That was a pretty nice game. Glio is definitely a stronger player than I thought he was going to be. I hadn't heard of him, so I was like, it's probably just some guy that's like C+, B-, but obviously he took care of Vadi without much difficulty at all.
Alright, game is hosted whenever you're ready. So, moving on to the next set. Memory's failing me on who it was. We had it up before, but let's just start the game and find out for ourselves. Game number 2 of
Shrinker and Fold on Colosseum.
Shrinker and Fold on Colosseum. Well, alright then.
If you want to take away the introductions.
Yeah. In the bottom left, as the red Protoss, we have Shrinker. And in the top left, as the blue Protoss, we have Fold?
Yeah, that's
a very peculiar way of spelling Fold. But, alright, I'll take your word for it. It's Fold. Playing as the blue Protoss.
Fold is, I guess, about at 10, and Shrinker's about it, we'll call it 7. And the map is now Colosseum. Now let's see if we can get this thing. Boom, there we go.
So, map's Colosseum. I also really like Colosseum. It's hard with how ingrained in conventional thinking people are about what a map needs to look like to come up with something outside of the box. You need to have a main, it needs to have a ramp, it needs to lead to a natural, that needs to have a choke, there needs to be an easy third, etc., etc., etc. But Colosseum manages to have those elements somewhat. It kind of has all of that, and it's not an imbalanced map, but it does it really differently. And I really do appreciate the maps that are able to do that. I think it's a really cool layout to the map. So I like Colosseum just purely because of how different it is from most conventional maps, yet not being a super cheesy map, not being a super imbalanced map.
Yeah, not at all. It has a pretty easy to take natural overall, and honestly the third isn't terrible to take either, but it doesn't use the traditional high ground, low ground natural. It uses kind of a narrow passageway. And also, what the heck? Oh, never mind. That was weird. When I revealed the map in its entirety to show the map, the creep wasn't there, but now the creep from the Sunkens is actually shows up. So it's there. I don't know why that happens, but apparently if you reveal the entire map, the creep doesn't show up unless it's been scouted. So the creep doesn't show up until it's been scouted on the map. There's a little bit of Brood War trivia for you.
Interesting. All right.
Oh yeah, I gotta change the score. Good point.
So, once again, we're going to see some mirror builds coming out of the two teams. Going for that early core, very, very standard for a PvP. That's pretty much everything you want to do is rely on, at the very least, on goons, but usually some kind of higher tech, unless you're planning on just cheesing them out with zealots.
This thing won't let me change the score. I don't know how to work this.
Oh.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do. It won't let me change the score from 0. Oh, maybe it did now. Let's see if it showed up. Yeah, okay. It let me do it finally.
Okay. Good.
When in doubt, spam click.
I was about to say, it's like, I used to use this too, but I don't remember the controls. I could open up mine and re-look at it.
Alright, so both players... Wait, no, is this... we got 10 10-15 gate, I think, from Fold. So we're gonna have some aggro. It is an on-ramp map, so that can be pretty strong. And of course, given that it's 10-15, there's no Zealot first from Fold, but there was Zealot core from Shrinker, who, in response to this, is going to go ahead and throw down his second gateway.
Does 10... Alright, so here's the first instance where I'm going to admit that I haven't been paying that much attention to Brood War lately, so I'm kind of rusty on these things, but isn't 10... he put the core up before the second gateway. Is that normal in 10-15 gate?
Yes.
It is?
I do believe it is.
Alright, never mind that.
Because you still want to be able to make those Dragoons. And now a goon out from Fold, so he's going to go ahead and try to pick off Shrinker's probe. We'll see if Shrinker tries to run home or not, or if he just continues to scout. We got 2 more goons coming from Fold, so we'll have 3. Let's look at the range for both players. Pretty identical, just a smidge faster from Fold, but I don't think it'll be dramatic enough that Fold will really have a big window of range versus no range. And Shrinker coming up, maybe trying to save his probe or get a free hit on Fold's goon, but both players now going to return. And now goons 2 and 3 out for Fold. The 4th goon is waiting on mineral, or 5th goon is waiting on minerals to start that. No, he's actually not going to start that. He's going to make a robo instead. Maybe this wasn't 10-15 and I just read it wrong. It was just a quicker 2 gate, because 10-15 with a robo is not something you'd really see. Oh, and I like what Shrinker's doing here. He's going to go ahead and use the fact that there's high ground here and just have his goons positioned on that, so if Fold runs in, he'll have the high ground advantage here in this fight. And Fold sees there's 3 goons and immediately pulls back, although 1 goon of Shrinker's running a little too far forward. But everything turns out okay. Robo done for Shrinker. Robo almost done for Fold, so pretty identical looking builds right now. And we can see the supplies are dead even.
Yeah. Yeah, as you said, identical builds so far, pretty much. There's a little small divergence where Fold went for a slightly faster gateway, and excuse me, Shrinker went for 1 Zealot before the goons, but it's going to end up being pretty much the same thing. Obs first for Fold, and Robo first from Shrinker. Okay, there's a little bit of a difference. This might have been because Shrinker doubled back with his probe and was able to stick around just long enough to feel comfortable his opponent wasn't going DTs. So he felt comfortable for going the Robo, but you don't see that terribly often, going for the Robo before Obs, unless you have a really, really deep scout.
You mean the support bay?
Yeah.
Okay. When you said Robo before Obs, I was like, wait,
yeah,
what?
It still has a Robo in it.
Fair
They're
enough.
both Robos.
Fair
it's
enough.
fine.
Oh, looks like we're going to see maybe a backdoor expansion for Fold, or maybe just a pylon in the back to spot for shuttles. Yeah, looks like that's what's going to be, just a little spotter pylon there. I don't know who's stronger between these 2 guys. Maybe Shrinker has been a little more active. He did just win, I think, the Brood War, or the DE thing, the German thing. But both players, I believe, are B- max on IC Cup with similar fish rankings. And the Obs coming in now for Fold. Oh, and we're going to have a Nexus from Shrinker, who already has 1 Reaver coming out.
So this natural is a natural that, as you said, feels really safe to take a lot of the time. I mean, you have to be able to defend that natural to be able to defend your main, because it's controlled by the same choke. Where it's not safe at all is in terms of Reaver drops. It is a extremely vulnerable natural when it comes to Reaver drops. So, as both players are going for Reavers now, shuttles should be following up soon. We'll see whether either of them decide to try to integrate the Reavers in more of a harass capacity rather than just supporting the army. A little bit of positional imbalance in favor of Fold here, because it's a lot easier for him to drop the Reavers and then run away compared to Shrinker. Shrinker has to fly over a lot of open terrain to get to Fold's natural. So it's a lot more likely that he accidentally runs into the goons and loses the shuttle. And in a PvP, sometimes that's game over. If the opponent's able to very quickly counterattack, an army with 2 Reavers this early compared to an army without 2 Reavers, it's just not even close most of the time.
And some people might ask, why is Shrinker not just defending the tighter natural choke and being in a more wider area? And basically the reason for that is if he just went back and held his natural choke, Fold would walk up on this high ground and would have a high ground advantage, and he'd be able to have goons from the high ground shooting at the low ground goons and generally being just really, really obnoxious. So that's why he's sitting out where he is and not just defending the choke to his natural.
Right, and that's a really good point. That high ground advantage does make a huge difference on Coliseum. Oh, here comes the first bit of Reaver harass, and oh boy, this is what I meant by it's just so easy. He's not even having to make the decision between harassing or supporting the army. The Reaver in that position does both right now because it's just hopping back and forth between the army and the base, and I wanted to see how many kills that was. That's got to be at least 7. Big harass, very simple, very effective coming out from Fold here.
And we can see Shrinker was thinking about getting a third, which is a super fast third. He's only on 2 gateways. Fold is now powering on 4. He's adding a... yeah, he's just on 4, never mind. But still, going for a third that fast is really risky. I mean, kind of the standard, if you will, for PvP would be to take a third off 6 gates. But he might just be making pylons, although he's already got 30 supply in pylons, but... or 30 extra supply in pylons. I can't tell what this probe is here for. Like, he had 400 minerals right until the harass happened, like he was going to make a nexus. And then the harass happened, he was like, maybe I'm not going to make this now.
Yeah, he did throw down another gateway. He could also just want to be placing pylons here just as another early warning system against the Reaver harass. That's also a possibility, but I think you were on the money by saying that he wanted to expand, but now doesn't feel comfortable with it. Not to mention that since his base got depopulated, there's still... you get diminishing returns as you add more and more probes, but because some of the probes got cleared out, it's more profitable to put a probe at old expansions rather than compared to expanding than it was before. So we might see him try to go for that in a little bit, but I'm not surprised that it delayed him a couple minutes here.
And, oh, Fold has some... wait, does he have shuttle speed? Oh, he's stopping his shuttle in a horrible spot. He does have shuttle speed, but the shuttle will not get sniped. But, man, that was not the best harass. And an observer's going to fly over, but an observer's in place for Shrinker, so that is cleaned up. No scouting for Fold. And now Fold is adding his 5th and 6th gateway. And he's got his +1 just now starting. He's got his Temple Archives on the way. He's getting leg speed, so we'll probably see... yeah, we see some Zealots getting mixed in now for Fold. And Shrinker, on the other hand, has pretty much ignored tech. I don't actually know. Shrinker just feels really behind. Maybe that was that Reaver... but, I mean, 6 probes is a good number, but it's not insane. But Fold's starting to feel very ahead. He's on way more gateways. His army is definitely bigger. And he's way ahead in his tech as well.
We have speed shuttle harass coming from the bottom of the map here. Those pylons placed in a very forward position is going to be able to see it. And I think this is a smart decision from Fold. Just dropping to... no. I was going to say just dropping to pick off that probe and running
surprisingly
away,
moving
but
back with his whole army. And now all of a sudden Fold is in the main.
Oh.
The probes need to run. Can he get a good Reaver shot off? He kills 1. And now Fold moves in for an attack, but no. The entire army of Shrinkers there. That is not a good place to attack. And Fold realizes this and does back off. Where'd the shuttle go? Did it die? No, it flew out. It flew out. It escaped. Oh, that's why he did it. He attacked so that Shrinker would come after that and pull his army back, and that allowed his shuttle a hole to fly out of.
I'm not exactly sure what happened there. I'm not sure if Fold might have done that, but he certainly lost more Dragoons than was worth the value of a shuttle and just 1 Reaver.
Yeah, it might have been just a case of what he was paying attention to. Like, that's what he wanted to do, but then as he was flying the shuttle out, he was worried about that. Oh, another big Scarab goes off, getting some more probes. But he will clean up the Reaver now. And now we're going to have...
that Reaver?
I did not make it in time to see the kill count, but...
it was a 20 kill Reaver.
Okay, that's quite a few probes. And now coming in here, Fold has a big supply advantage, but the army is pretty formidable right now from Shrinker, and the 2 Reavers are definitely going to be a nice addition. Fold moving, he's going to try to snipe the shuttle, but it takes him a lot of goon rounds to do it, but there's a lot of Zealots, and it looks like from the army from Fold is just going to be big enough. And now Shrinker's on the run. Fold is establishing his 3rd base. Fold, I think, is going to be quite happy with his position. His upgrades are way ahead. His tech is obviously way faster. And by way faster, I mean I don't even know if Shrinker has any tech yet. In fact, he does not. So Fold is at a really, really significant advantage. I mean, the only thing Shrinker has going for him is that he made his 3rd Nexus slightly faster. But all in all, that's not that big of a deal because it was like 10 seconds faster. And already there's been a lot of harass and everything else in Fold's favor as well.
And it might have been 10 seconds faster, but it's not as if that produced 10 seconds more mining time. It's still not mining at this point, where it's now just starting to get some probes, where Shrinkers has been up for a little while. That fight went as good for
man.
Oh,
Few Shrinker's goons walking right in. They literally walked up against Fold's army for a while.
yeah. That fight went as good for Fold as he could hope for.
Yes, indeed.
All the goons focused on the Zealots, so the Zealots soaked up a lot of damage without a lot of casualties. The shuttle was slightly out of position, and Fold really capitalized on that, moving forward, picking off the Reavers fast. And the Scarabs didn't get a huge number of shots off on a bunch of clumped up Zealots. They did moderate damage, but not as much damage as they could have done. So everything, just all the check marks you want to hit as a PvP player went into that fight, and now it looks like Fold's just trying to dissect this base, trying to figure out the best way to go in. Right now he's going to try to go up this ramp, hope that the goons are a little bit out of position, but no. Goons are going to be able to get back in time, and he does not want to go up that small ramp through some simple form of a Sim City. Oh? Oh?
It looks like he's just trying to pick off what he can. I don't think he'll actually commit to any sort of attack here, as that's a lot of goons in a way better position for Shrinker. But he does get off a nice storm now. That's going to be cute if he does that and takes advantage of goons clumping up. Actually, Fold is committing more to this than I thought he was going to. Maybe he's just hoping some more goons will cluster up for some good storms, but Shrinker seems to be aware of this and is keeping his goons in a little bit more of a pulled back, safe position. Oh, there we go. There's another good storm. That's exactly what Fold's trying to do. He's just trying to bait the goons in to fight and getting off some huge storms that are hitting the goons for really a long duration of the storm as well. And now there's a Reaver here. If Fold reinforces this, he could possibly break up this, especially with that Reaver down there if it starts shooting some Scarabs rather than just, you know, walking back and forth like a Reaver.
I think they traded about even there.
Yeah, that was really shocking. Those storms were very effective. Oh, now a shuttle's arrived for Fold, and here comes another big reinforcement. But a Reaver out for Shrinker as well. We'll see how Fold manages the wrap. The main where... Oh dear. 26 kill DT. I missed that one.
Missed it too, buddy. Okay. What was a pretty oddly even fight became a really, really one-sided fight when you factor in the 26 probe kills.
Yeah, that's pretty outrageous. In fact, it might get the Nexus too.
Yeah.
This is gonna be iffy. This is gonna be really close. This is gonna be really close. The Obs is not getting back there in time. This DT has a decent chance of getting the Nexus. Not quite. He's gonna run away. Oh, man, that was close. That's ridiculous. Did that walk in the front? Or did I just miss the shuttle? Because I saw the shuttle come down to pick the Reaver up. So I don't know. That's crazy.
I think it walked in. Pretty sure it did.
Oh man. I mean, there are no cannons to intercept a shuttle route, but still. Oh man, so the eco of Shrinker's obviously in tatters. That's at least 50 probes Shrinker's lost this game. As we said, 20 kills on the Reaver. We got 26 on that DT. There were some that died at the third, so we got to be up to 30 kills. Oh yeah, and that DT's up to like 28 now. Alright, so here comes the attack from Fold. Will it be the end of the game? I think there's a good chance it will. Even fighting uphill, it's only still slow lots from Shrinker. Lots of goons, double Reavers, although there are 2 Reavers for Shrinker. But yeah, Fold is just tearing through this. Supply almost tripled now for Fold. The army of Shrinker is evaporated and torn apart. And I think we will see a GG at any moment in time. I think he's taking a moment to be like, damn, the game did not go as I hoped. A few more units popping out of the gateways, but you know, 2 Zealots spawning with 10 Dragoons and another 10 Zealots on top of the gateways doesn't do much, and there it is. GG. The AoV team is rolling in this first game, and this is certainly not the team I would have picked to be ahead in this matchup whatsoever. Going into this, if I was a betting man, I absolutely would have staked money on the SB Pain teams. That's a team made up of a lot of, you know, B and even A- guys, whereas AoV has traditionally been a team of guys that are, you know, C+, B- mostly.
Game is up. Yeah, I think that's a good assessment. Surprising start, but
So the game has already started. You might have to make it under a different name.
I'm gonna have to say that. Oh, shoot. Okay. Add a 1 to the game name. So, yeah, I think that's I think most people are surprised by that. SV Pain has a lot of good players on it, and Vadi and Dr. Shrinker are no slouches. But looking at the rest of their roster of the people who are still playing, Dragon, Oxerg, Busy, they certainly
That's
say
gonna be strong. Also, Splax versus Muka. Muka, I think, is a C Protoss, and Splax is like C plus, maybe B minus now, and he also won one of the C tourneys. I forget if it was ASL or which one it was, but he won, or at least was a finalist in one of those. So I think Splax is definitely going to be the favored player in this game. Oh, and it's going to be on the epic map Outsider.
All right. In the bottom position as the orange Protoss, we have Splax, hoping to turn things around for Team Pain / Stealth Bunnies. And in the left-hand position as the teal Protoss, we have Muka. And the map is Outsider.
So if you guys don't know about this map, number one, I think it's awesome. But the way it works is there's kind of two ways you can play. It can have standard games where you just kind of take your natural and fight in the middle and stuff. But you can also play a game centered around like shuttles and airplay, and you can control the ring expansions around the outside of the map. And it really gets interesting when one player plays for control of the center and the other player plays for the ring. You get some really interesting dynamics going on there in these games with the geometry of this map. Definitely one of the more unique maps in Brood War history.
Yeah. Definitely another map that falls into the category I was describing on the last map of being a really unique map and being similar to other maps but changing it up a lot. Unfortunately, this map does turn out to be a little higher cheese percentage than average. There are just so many places to put proxy anythings on this map, and pushing units through minerals and shenanigans. Shenanigans abound on this map.
Not only that, I think it's also a fact that there's some players that just don't like the map, and also there's a tendency to not prepare. And sometimes if it's like, oh, Outsider, well, either I take my time and prepare a big build, or I practice my 9-9 gate in a good proxy location. Sometimes that kind of stuff occurs as well. Both players are going to scout to the incorrect base. And I don't know what the heck tipped Muka off, but Muka did not go up the ramp. I don't think he saw the probe of Splax. Maybe he just nicked it on the mini-map, but that was weird. Because he did not go to the ramp, and he's just like, I'm going to go to the bottom. But I guess maybe he just saw the edges of Splax's probe on the mini-map. And Splax is going all the way to the back door. I don't know what Splax is doing. Oh, he's going to come in the back door to scout. Wait, he's going to come in the back? I thought he was going to glitch his... Now I don't know what he's doing. I thought he was going to glitch his way around in. But I have no idea why he went all the way... What is going on in this game with the scouting patterns? I don't know. There's some weird stuff.
Here's what happened. So, Yuka went random. And Splax is afraid that Yuka went Terran and then lifted off his base and fed it to the mineral only. So he's checking that shit.
Powerful tactic.
He's gonna let me get away.
Yeah, after this will be LRM against somebody. IWL.
Right.
Alright, so here we go. We're going to have Zealot and Probe Harass coming on from Splax, coming in from Splax. There's a Zealot out for Muka, so it's just going to be a matter of, is the defense solid? Oh, there's two Zealots for Muka. Oh, he can block the ramp! Yes! Okay, he holds the ramp. Okay, so he doesn't even have to worry about the Zealot harassing him, so that's going to be kind of nice. Looks like he's going to leave one Zealot in blocking position and send the other to chase the probe around, who is going to leave, perhaps via the backdoor route. He can actually just glitch it over the minerals and come back later if he wants to. Oh, I see what happened. Yeah, my overlay got switched. I'm still not used to this. I apologize for that. I will fix this for you. It's like the other clan team suddenly got way ahead in the overlay. Okay. Situation resolved now.
Alright. So, keeping the probe alive and scouting out pretty thoroughly just to make sure there's not any hidden DT tech, hidden proxies. And I think I think we can see a statement about the relative level of cheese on this map by both players. Again, having mirror builds as we saw in the last game, but instead of mirror builds where one player builds one zealot and one player forgets zealots completely, we now have both players building multiple zealots. Just in case.
Now the builds deviate as Muka opted for Gate Robo and Splax opted for Gate Robo Gate.
Right. Does he have the second gate? No.
Usually the second gate will come. Usually you don't just do one Gate Robo.
Okay, I just want to make sure I wasn't missing it.
Yeah, there's the second gate for Splax now. Oddly enough, though, Splax's robo timing isn't any faster than Muka's.
And his range timing is slower. Not sure why that he's behind.
Yeah. Straight to robo support bay from Splax, so obviously feels comfortable that Muka is not going to go DTs on him.
Yep. And last game we were a little bit unsure about whether he was scouting. That tipped it was Shrinker off about not needing to go for early observers. But this game we can be definitely sure. Orange spent a lot of time scouting around with the probe, really making sure that there was no kind of hidden shenanigans going on. So we can be confident that he is rather sure, and even have him going in again, sneaking the probe in, and finally doing that glitch trick that you kept expecting them to do, and he just teased you with. Now actually getting in there, and he's going to get a perfect information, essentially.
Oddly, he went for the support bay, but he did not make the shuttle first. So he's just going to have Crawl Reavers first. I think he's going to Expo then, because if you want to do a fast attack with Reavers or fast harass, you'd absolutely want to make the shuttle first. That is not what Splax opted to do here.
Yeah, we actually saw this last game too, and it's a little bit odd. The Reaver comes out a little bit faster if you don't build the shuttle, because the shuttle builds slower than the support bay. But then you have to start the shuttle completely after that. So it is faster if you start the shuttle, if your entire goal is just get a Reaver on a shuttle and start it flying. Usually you go for this either A, if you kind of mismanaged your money, you didn't have 200 minerals to start when the Robo Bay finished, or when you're building the Reaver and you're kind of fearing your opponent. You don't know if the attack's coming, so you want the Reaver out just as fast as possible in case there's an attack, and then you can add the shuttle on later.
And Shrinker's saying on this map you can easily defend 2-gate robo with a 1-gate robo and get a faster nexus, so he's a little surprised that Splax opted for getting the second gate. I guess feeling the natural is a tight enough choke that the defense is very manageable. Alright, here we go. Muka's running in here for a full-scale attack, but there's a Reaver there, and he's wasting a lot of Dragoon shots to get it, and he doesn't get it. This is going to be disastrous for Muka. This is going to be really, really bad if you waste that many shots. I mean, he eventually gets it, but obviously losing tons of goons may be susceptible to counterattack, although he's unexpanded, so he can just go up his ramp and live. The Reaver's not out yet, though. We'll see what Splax does here with the counterattack. Might pick off a goon or two, although it looks like with the Zealot leading, it's slowing down Splax's goons, so he's not actually going to pick off any of Muka's in retreat. And I don't know if that was worth it. I actually thought he was going to lose even more goons, but... actually, there's a shuttle with a Reaver out now, but I don't know if this engagement will be good for Muka. We'll see how the control is, although he does have the Reaver now, and Splax is fighting far away from home. Muka appears to have more stuff. Splax realizing this, backing away now. So Muka gets out just enough stuff, and Splax sending a probe down here to the 6 o'clock position.
Those two battles back-to-back showed perfectly the dynamic of the Reaver in this matchup.
Mm-hmm.
When Muka came in, you saw him focus everything on the Reaver, and he lost so many units because he had to dive so deep for that Reaver. And you're screaming at your computer monitor, why the hell are you going so hard for the... Why the hell are you focusing on the Reaver? It's so far back, it's not worth it. And then, on the other hand, Muka's defending, and he has a Reaver, and the Reaver doesn't get focused, and you're screaming at your screen, why the hell aren't you focusing the Reaver? It's doing so much goddamn damage to you.
Honestly, I was surprised Splax picked that fight. Just looking at it, it was like there's equal goons and a Reaver, and then he continued to fight. I was kind of like, why is Splax still here? I don't understand.
Yeah. Definitely a favorable engagement from Muka. And really fortunate, actually, because if Splax had just backed off and held position and just continued to reinforce the goon army, that 5 or 6 Dragoon advantage really could be a huge factor in an upcoming engagement, but now it's kind of resetting, not as pronounced of an advantage as it once was. We do have Splack still with a small supply lead, but not as high as it would have been if he had decided not to go for the jugular there.
And I want to note both players, this map being probably in part because this map is outsider, both players are getting shuttle speed.
Yeah.
Which makes the harassing shuttle way more annoying. Like a slow shuttle, if it comes in the base and you're ready for it, it's pretty easy to position goons so you kill it. But a speed shuttle, man, it can just come in there, drop, boom, scarab, gone, and you're just like, ugh, can't kill this thing.
Yeah.
Spotter pylon is there for Splax. Will there be a reaction? He's flying over it right now. Muka is. So far, he's just staying over that pylon, and now he's going to turn away and go elsewhere. There's a reaction from Splax, but I don't know where the shuttle's headed. Looks like it's going to try to go to the natural. He can actually got one angle he could drop it, but the goons for the observer sees it, and he can shoot at it, so Muka needs to be careful, and he is being careful. How close is he to having his speed? Still has about a quarter of the upgrade left to go.
Well, Splax is done with his, and he has a Reaver loaded up in a shuttle in the bottom left-hand corner. Absolutely. This map, in most PvC scenarios, shuttle speed is a preference thing. There are arguments for or against it. You can get away either way, but on this map, you need your shuttle to be fast. You need to have the ability to do damage quickly.
Here comes the drop from Splax. Weaver down. Weaver down. The Scarab is off. There's no reaction from Yuka, but the Scarab is being pretty dumb. But it goes off, and a huge Scarab, wiping out at least half the probes at that mineral line. That's got to be 8 or 9 kills right there. And now all of a sudden, Muka's in full flight for the counterattack. He's got a shuttle with 2 Reavers kind of sitting over this cliff. But the observer can see it, so he's got to have some suspicion that he's coming. We can see Splax setting up his goons in an arc around that next. He does only have 1 Reaver. Never mind, he's got the shuttle. He's also got goons defending in the main, which is what you have to do against the speed shuttle threat. It'll probably pull him down into his natural once he sees that Muka is going to commit to the attack down here, which it looks like Muka is going to. And his attack definitely needs to do something. Splash moving in now. He's going to target down the shuttle, try to reduce the mobility of the Reavers, and then use his own Reavers to snipe off Muka's Reavers, and it's going well for him so far. That Reaver's gone down, and as long as Splax's Reavers stay alive, he's going to eat this army of Muka alive as he's coming into this narrow natural choke. Still plenty of goons around. He has pulled them back, but yeah, Muka's forced to retreat, has lost his Reavers, and that battle goes just fine for Splax, especially given the probe damage that he's already done.
Yeah. And maybe because he was fearful of what happened last time, but Yuka did not go and focus the Reavers. Reavers completely untouched in that engagement, and they just did so much damage. The goons were so clumped up coming in, and now we have those Reavers.
And
so much damage
round
to the goons.
2.
Now going to do more damage to the probes. And, oh, there we go. There's the Scarab.
Oh my god, that just destroyed the natural mineral line. He's going in now for the main mineral line. This might be a suicide mission for the shuttle, or at least one of the Reavers. It's dropped. Can it get a good Scarab? No, probably not. Probably. Oh my god, yes! The probes change angle, and the Scarab actually goes off. Now the damage, the harass damage from Splax is getting insane. Everything is going his way this game. The shuttle also gets away. Muka at half the supply of Splax. Kills off the probe there by that pylon. And this game is almost certainly going to be in Splax's favor now, as he's harassed a ton, massive damage, and Muka had a fairly inefficient engagement against Splax.
One other thing I wanted to mention about the speed shuttle, you could see it just before that big fight between Muka and Splax over at Splax's natural, is he was able to drop with the Reaver. He got 7 probe kills, and then because he had shuttle speed, he had plenty of time to get the Reaver back into position and defend. And that's the other really big reason why shuttle speed is a must on this map. You gotta have the ability to harass, and then fly over huge distances, take really roundabout routes to not fly through the middle of the map, and then get your Reaver back with your army when you need it to. Brilliant example of why shuttle speed is necessary. Really solid play. Not just in that, but overall this game from Splax here.
And even after stabilization, Splax still at double supply. So really an overwhelming advantage. And again, coming into the back of the natural. Good reaction from Muka, though. This time, he will not take damage from that Scarab. Oh, no. He's being a pain with his Reavers up at the top, killing some goons. And saves the shuttle to boot, so 4 goons for free for Splax. More goodness in his favor. Muka's just hopelessly behind at this point. Really, he's not going to win this game. In fact, I honestly think Splax could win even if all his probes suddenly blew up right now.
To be fair, it wasn't quite for free. Cost him like 90 minerals.
Oh, okay. True.
Man.
A very
Hey,
well spent 90 minerals.
Scarab's that up, man. When you use your Reavers as much as Flax does, they fired off a lot of shots. Like,
Alright.
legitimately,
So
it could be like 200 minerals worth of Reaver shots this game. I think that's a fair statement.
Alright,
Not
so
negligible, man.
Muka has the slightly better positioning, but holy crap, Splax's army is big. It also has 2 Reavers in it with a shuttle. Honestly, if the control's good, Splax can target down Muka's Reavers, and without the shuttle, that'll go well for him. Here comes the big attack now. Reavers being dropped away, moving in with them. I really don't think Muka is going to survive this attack. The Zealots are going to get in there as well and be obnoxious. The Reavers are trying to crawl their way in, but they're having an awkward go of it. But there's just too much stuff, and now there's starting to be some spread for Splax as well. Muka's immediately evacuating the natural. Tons of Zealots in there, lots of goons left over, and GG is said. Splax puts Stealth Bunny's Pan on the board 2-1.
Those Reavers had 20 kills apiece. There were a lot of probe kills in there, a lot of Dragoon kills in there, and man, Reavers are really strong.
Yes, they are.
I'm gonna keep the 1 in the name, going into map number 4. Team is hosting.
Now is where it gets real tough. I'm afraid for AoV, as they now have to face the 1-3 punch of Dragon, Oxurg, and Busy.
Yeah.
So we've got A-, A-, and A- coming up. We'll see if AoV can handle them, though.
Alright. In the bottom right, as the white Zerg, we have Sabas, and that means in the top left, as the blue Protoss, we have Dragon. Looks like Sabas is Zerg to Dragon's Protoss. Kind of want to know how they did. I'm always curious about how race pickers figure that out. Like, do you rock, paper, scissors to figure out which one of these 2 players is Zerg and which one of them is Protoss?
Alright, so AoV is up 2-1, right? I think I got this right. And the map is Polaris Rhapsody, I think.
Map's not Polaris Rhapsody.
No? Which map is it?
Looks like Polaris Rhapsody, but it's the new map. The new map, which name Overwatch. There we go.
Oh, okay. I don't know anything about this map, but it's another Brood War MN map.
So yeah, this is an interesting map. I don't know. It's probably visual, but my first thought looking at this map, it almost feels like 2-player Gladiator. Like, in that you have the fingers in the middle, and those fingers are going to kind of give the same dynamic as all the fingers on Gladiator, but in a 2-player sense. And it has those same center expos, those mineral-only expos that are close positionally, but really far away from... they're close positionally, but really hard to defend just because they're so open, and relatively close to your opponents, too. So... it's kind of weird to say it's 2-player Gladiator, because Gladiator's just 4-player Heartbreak Ridge. This map's nothing like Heartbreak Ridge. But, like, just kind of squint your eyes. Play along with me. It's fine. I don't know. It's probably a really bad assessment, but I'm gonna go with my gut feeling. I'm gonna say it looks like Gladiator.
So, obviously the Overlord's going to head in the correct direction. If it doesn't head in the correct direction on a 2-player map, you've got some difficulties going on. And Dragon is going to go Nexus first. Oh, you can do that? You can looks like you can... oh wait, no, never mind. He made the forge. I'm going crazy. But still, he's going to go Nexus before cannons against presumably what is Overpool. So that's interesting that you can do that here, but I'm going to assume Dragon has practiced this and knows what can be done.
Yeah. Two-player map with cross positions means that or a two-player map that has cross positions means it tends to be very long distance for Zerglings or any kind of early game unit to rush across the map. And he did get the probe in to scout first. Could have thrown up cannons if it was necessary, but now just going to throw up one cannon and get the gateway. Doesn't feel pressured to get two cannons or anything like that just because of the scout. And it's I mean, that's just the value of the scout. You're quote unquote throwing away 50 minerals on the scout, but you're making up that and far beyond in terms of speeding up your production when you don't need to play defensively.
And Dragon knows what he's doing. Sees there's only 4 lings, only has to make 1 cannon at the natural. Second cannon really only gets required at 6 lings. And in fact, sometimes I'll see on Snipe a lot players will get away with 1 cannon against even 6 lings if they block with probes for a little bit, but a little bit riskier if you do that. And if it's 8 or more, then you pretty much have to have the second one. So this will be a nice economic position for Dragon since he did get his Nexus before cannon against an overpool. And now finally it looks like Sabas is going to send the lings up outside the natural of Dragon. Although he has found the probe of Dragon. Can he pick it off? No, Dragon is paying attention to it. So Dragon going to continue to get some scouting information. One thing I don't like here is I prefer to see Sabas peel one of these lings back and leave it at the front. As right now he has no vision if Dragon pokes out with anything, and that obviously costs lost mining time and can even get some drone kills if a couple zealots sneak out blindsided.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. So, we do have standard builds from both players. We got the Stargate coming up. Excuse me. We got the Stargate coming up from Dragon, and the lair is just about done here for Sabas.
He's getting his ling speed, pretty typical stuff. And there's the Spire for Sabas.
Yeah, the Stargate's a little bit faster than normal. Usually you don't have the Stargate essentially done by the time the Spire's just starting. So he might be able to get away with killing 2 Overlords? If I was him, I'd get greedy and not kill the Overlord that's in the base. Fly directly to my opponent's natural or main and try to get the Overlord kill there.
Oh yeah, and he can do that too because he's had the scouting information, so it's totally fine for him to go do that.
Yeah. Normally with your first Corsair, you can either get the really easy kill on the Overlord that's far away from the Zerg's main, or you can go for scouting information. And you can do some harass to Overlords, but you don't necessarily get the kill a lot of the time, especially on a large map like this. But in this case, I think he's going to be able to get additional scouting information and get an Overlord kill? Maybe. That's Fire getting pretty high up there. Maybe he won't be able to quite get the Overlord kill. It'll be close.
But you can always get the Overlord back home with the second Corsair popping out. I think he'll get 1 kill though, I think. If he starts attacking, but I think he's just going to scout, it looks like.
Alright.
So we got a pair of Scourge in the making. I think he'll just barely get it. We'll have to see. Yeah, he's going to get this Overlord kill.
Okay.
And he's killing off the Overlord in the main. Which looks like Sabas has prepared for. Yeah, does not find himself supply blocked. And nope, he is not going to lose the Sayer escaping.
That was a nice little move, though, building some Scourge over at the third, and it almost worked out. The Scourge hatched, and they were able to get the Corsair, but Corsair.
And now Dragon moving out. Looks like his timing is perfect. He's going to be down there, kicking in with his upgrades right around the 710, 715 mark. You can see the 2 creeps are going down from Sabas. It's worth noting this bottom base here at 6 o'clock doesn't have the most typical of SimCity. It's kind of like Python, where it's a little more open. You got a SimCity with Sunkens in the mineral line for defense. Of course, the natural has a nice Zerg-looking SimCity, assuming that's actually tight, the way it should be. A few Hydras being popped now to defend this, and Hydra range being researched. But with 2 Sunkens and a few Hydra, he's going to be safe. And I think his other base will be safe as well. It's only 6 Zealots. And with Hydra and some Lings popping out to defend, yeah, he'd easily be able to clean this up. I don't think Dragon wants to commit here. If he sees some stray units, he can pick those off. He could probably even fight that if he wants to, but it looks like he's just going to back away. No, he's just going to go ahead and pick the fight here. And force Sabas to run away. And now the question is, does Sabas go full Hydra production? And no, it looks like he wants to get a few more drones. And Dragon is adding a third cannon, thinking there's definitely a possibility for some. In fact, he's adding 4 cannons, so this is pretty nice for Sabas. As Sabas just went ahead and said, okay, I scared your little +1 attack away. Now I'm just going to make a whole boatload more drones. So Sabas is going to have a really nice economy here.
Yeah, this is higher. Actually, this is really odd. It's a higher drone concentration than you're used to on Zerg bases. Usually Zergs have just hardly more than 1 per patch, and Sabas clearly has more than that. But even more odd, he took a 3rd base and has it completely populated, but didn't get the gas, and whoa. I'm guessing that was a mixed click. I just happened to have the hatchery selected at his 3rd, and he started researching burrow, and then canceled.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that was a misclick. Got me excited for a second there, Sabas.
Sabas getting his Overlord speed so that he doesn't send a bunch of Hydras up for a big attack and be like, "Psych, DT."
So the concluding thought is, I wonder what he's going to do, because this is a lot more minerals than a Zerg player goes for normally, and a lot more minerals relative to the gas. So I'm expecting static defense, yes. He has money for a lot more static defense, but I'm expecting him to throw down 1 or 2 more hatcheries and just start pumping out huge numbers of Lings and Hydras a little bit later on here.
Yeah, it's been interesting to see him staying on 5 hatches. 6 hatches is a little more common to play these days. But a lot of Hydras are now out for Sabas. He's almost got his Lurker done, so he might get a bunch of Lurkers and then go for some sort of a contain, which would be pretty easy to get off. Oh, it's kind of a single bridge too, but oh, there's 2 ways you can get out. Okay. That makes containing a little more awkward.
Corsairs flew into the natural, but I don't think he was expecting that many Hydralisks to be there. He lost 1 immediately, and now he certainly can't get any Overlord kills, especially with speed done. So he's just going to go for a scout here, looking around and trying to discern what Zerg's next move is here. Zerg has surprisingly been rather passive here. It's not too often you see Zerg so concentrated in just 1/4 of the map. Usually they're a lot more spread out, moving around with units and whatnot. But both players, you can see it just looking at the mini-map. There's nothing in the middle of the map. Huge blackness for now, but
Sabas is intending to change that. And he's got some Lurkers morphing back at his natural. And of course, this is probably in part due to his scouting link, seeing the 3rd base being killed off by a Zealot.
Yeah, I think Dragon's going to have a hard time. Oh, wait, is Storm done?
Yeah, I believe it is.
Okay.
He's researching
yeah,
it
Storm
earlier.
has to be done now. So, this is a hard fight without Storm.
There's a lot of Templar, though.
Yeah.
But the Lurkers might be an issue, and there's an Obs out. No Goons yet. Oh, never mind, Goons are out. Okay, I think Dragon's going to be fine. In fact, Dragon kind of has a scary army.
Oops. I think Dragon just threw away his Corsairs. A little bit unfortunate there, but they kind of lose their effectiveness at the stage of the game anyway. 1 storm going down, 2 storms going down. Okay.
Dragoons probably ought to make their way on over, but he's got some Dragoons in this. I think he's going to get through this pretty easily. 1 group of Hydras from Sabas, whether intentional or not, is on the other side of this high ground pod. Alright, so here we go. We got some Dragoons coming into high bound. Zealots running in, which is fine. Really nice storm there going off. There's 2 observers, which are very vulnerable, but Sabas makes no effort to pick them up. But the army from Dragon's just way too big. Just going to punch through this. There we go. Nicely pulling his Zealots back. I'm surprised he doesn't continue to move forward. But for whatever reason, not opting to do that. We see more Evo Chambers and a Queen's Nest going down for Sabas, who has no carapace right now at all. That's a little concerning. Zealot's going to be highly effective. They're already a +1, and they're going to be a +2 fairly soon. Oh, that's the big reinforcement fighter. Let's see if the storms continue to be pretty good. Observers getting targeted down. Those were really 2 really dud storms. And Dragon's army, for whatever reason, is getting whittled down. I'm surprised he didn't break that when he had the chance. There was a point where it was like 2 Lurkers and 4 Hydras, and Dragon had like 2 groups of units, so I was like, I'm going to back off now.
Looks like each of those High Templar have about 1 storm. One of them's a little bit short at the moment. So he still has a good number of storms for this next attack. But yeah, man, that group of Hydralisks, that one control group that just wasn't part of the fight, would have made a huge difference in the first skirmish here. And I think when it was present for the second skirmish, you saw that it was certainly able to do something. And now, coming up again, Archon taking a lot of that lurker fire is going to help out a lot.
Yeah, and this time Dragon redeems himself. Those were great storms. Massive number of Hydra dead, and now it's just a few lurkers. He's got to run. They aren't crackling, so he can't send them in to fight the goons unaided yet. And now, especially if Dragon's making a round of zealots out of these gateways, which he is, this is going to be could be a little bit of a scary follow-up here from Dragon, who is at a pretty comfortable supply advantage right now over the Zerg. We can see Sabas is trying to establish a 4th and a 5th base, but Dragon has a really scary army right now. He can easily deny either of those bases if he so chooses. Although his army right now is exclusively goons, it doesn't even have any Templar in it, which is actually kind of okay, although it's not going to be okay in about a minute and a half when we have cracklings on the map and mass, but for the moment it's going to be really strong. So this base is going to be cancelled. Crackling we can see started from Sabas, who is forgetting to get more carapace upgrade. He's got +1 carapace now, but he needs more.
Just started +2 as you say that. Yeah, the crackling upgrade, it's going to be a really huge turning point. And Dragon is a veteran Protoss player. It's just a consequence of how those first skirmishes came out, that he probably didn't mean to have this many goons. Normally Protoss players aren't looking for that high of a goon concentration, but it just as the way the battle turns out, he lost all his zealots every time, but did not lose any goons. So it might turn out a little bit of a double-edged sword here once those cracklings come out, because they're just so damn effective against goons. Defiler Mound is out too, and obviously Swarm is a huge, huge thing. And ooh, we're going to be getting the Nidus Canal up. Oh, we already have one over at the 4th base, so don't always see Nidus Canals, but on a big map like this, I think it's going to be really helpful if, in fact, Protoss goes down there. We have some engagement out in the middle of the map.
And Sabas is burrowing. He's trying to pick this fight. This is not a good fight for him to pick. This is basically just going to be devoured lings and lurkers. This is going to be great for Dragon. Throws down some nice storms there, getting rid of all the lings. Going to dispatch the last of the goons. Is the crackling upgrade done? Yes, it actually is done, so I guess that's going to make these a little bit more scary, but there's so much stuff from Dragon here, and Sabas has to run away. Dragon is at triple the supply right now of Sabas, which means that we might just see Sabas getting overrun. He basically doesn't have any lurkers, and he's only got a small amount of lings. I think Dragon is about to overrun him here at any point.
It looked as if Sabas was trying to find a fight and went into that engagement wholeheartedly, but I think he accidentally found the Protoss there.
Yeah, he might have, but he should have just run away.
He lost so many of his lurkers early. I think he lost 5 to 6 lurkers before they even burrowed, just because they were running into the Protoss. And here come the Lings and the Defiler. Defiler needs to get off the Swarm.
He can't, though. Down goes the Nidus Canal, so the 4th is dead.
Must not have
and GG is spoken from Sabas, and Dragon ties it up for his team at 2-2.
Yeah, jeez. Man, I think you just saw why Dragon's a good player. He had a really, really strong army. Executed fights rather well. There was like one questionable fight in there on a high ground pod that didn't quite turn out.
And really, that was just a matter of kind of whiffing a couple storms, but he pulled back smartly.
I mean, you realize that you did a very good job of assessing the situation. He knew when he could attack, he knew when he had to defend, and from a larger strategic perspective, he played that game near flawlessly. Games hosted.
So now it is time for Oxer against Poetic, who is Elegant's brother, a B- Terran, but he's up against an A- Zerg.
He's B-?
Yes. That is my understanding of the situation anyway.
Alright. Well, in the top right, we have Orange Zerg as Oxer. And in the bottom right position, we have the Purple Terran. It's Poetic. Yeah, this is a hard one for Poetic.
Yes, yes it is. Oxerg has been quite strong. Obviously has been doing well in TLS.
Yeah, and making reference to that there as you knocked out Mad. Man, this is all right. So the map is Tau. The map is Tau Cross. You know what? I like this map for Poetic here, just because this is a map where you can get really, really safe with your walls. You can make completely sealed walls on this map. Oh, it doesn't look like he's going to do it though. I don't know. I would be a fan of just completely sealing yourself into the main here, just because of how prevalent Ox Circlings are.
Wait, is that 8 Rex? I think it is an 8 Rex.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got a little 8 Rex action.
Okay.
The Overlord from Oxerg, though, is not going to be in a vulnerable location to get picked off.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, good point, guys. Good point. Thanks for reminding me of that. Still getting used to the new setup, but yeah. The player of this game is awesome. You can just imagine it's like a radio brood war.
Alright. So, I guess if you are going to go A-Rex, you got to get something good. You got to do some kind of damage here.
Definitely
at
bunker rush, but yeah, because there did go 12 hatch, so the bunker rush is certainly going to be in play.
Alright. Let's see how this plays out. Against a 12 hatch, normally the best course of action is to just, when you see the bunker rush coming, except you can't defend it, and cancel the hatchery. Because it's not worth trying to save a lot of the time. I wonder if Oxerg would do that, though. Oxerg isn't the kind of player who's willing to sacrifice something like that and play for a longer game. He's the kind of player who, in all honesty, would get rather greedy and try to just keep it alive. So I'm interested. The first 2 Marines are on the way. I like the move by Poetic to not just immediately run out with 1 Marine, and instead waiting for 2, just because the 2 Marines are so much stronger. 1 Marine isn't going to be able to do a whole lot.
Yeah, that's nice. And this almost is like a little bit of a fake. Like the SCV is acting like it's just going to be an SCV, and now all of a sudden it's going to probably plop down a bunker and be like, psych. But Oxerg Overlord is in position. He's going to know about the Marines now. And the drones are immediately off the line, so the reaction here is good from Oxerg. Now, will the control be sufficient? Can he push these back and kill these Marines? He's already on one of them. One of them's got to be going down soon. The control from Oxerg has been good so far, but that bunker's nearing completion. He picks off an SCV nicely. A 3rd Marine coming up, but 1 is super low on health. Where is it? Can he get it? He gets that one, but the bunker is done. Can he stop it? No, he cannot. At least 1 is in. There are lings out from Oxerg now, though, but there's also SCVs to repair, and he's trying to block them from getting in. This is not going well. I think Oxerg is going to lose the hatchery at this point, as there's now 4 SCVs fully repairing. The drones in an awkward position as well. They are actually separated from their main base. So this is going to be really bad. Oxerg is doing a little bit of a counterattack of his own, although Poetic, sensing this, is pulling back 1 Marine. And now the drones, man, they're just in an awkward position. Can't do anything there. He will not be able to save the hatch. The counterattack is not doing a whole lot. May force the lift on the barracks. There's actually 2 Marines out from Poetic, though, so I don't think he's going to be that scared of this ling counter. He's actually picking off a few stray SCVs. If Poetic got careless here, Oxerg might block this bunker rush because the SCVs are fighting the lings, although he does clean them up. So say if he got rid of a few more of those SCVs, that bunker is going to be vulnerable to getting surrounded by lings. And now Poetic is lifted off his barracks, but he does have a bunker back in the natural mineral line. Oh man, if Oxerg goes, well, he could just target it down this point. I was going to say, Oxerg almost could do this, and here we go. It's the big moment, the drones, everything, but he is going to stay focused on the hatchery, so the hatchery goes down. This is cleaned up. He's going to have to rely on that bunker, though, to stay safe. And we can see gas from Poetic, so we might see a factory coming up, and yeah, that is exactly what we're going to see.
Oxerg pulled those drones early, and you mentioned that Poetic sent SCV at normal scouting times to make it seem like everything was the same, but he sent an SCV scout to both locations. And because Oxerg kept his Overlord over at the untaken main, he saw that there was a double scout, which immediately raised concern, which is the reason he was able to get his drones out. Turns out that he wasn't able to stop the bunker rush, but it gave him
oh no! Oh no! He can kill the gas! He can kill the gas! Oh, that's not good for Poetic. That is not good. I mean, he can build. He can build some slow.
Sure.
Yeah, he's gonna have to lift that off.
There we go.
He,
Can he get the factory? Oh, he can't get the factory
oh,
too.
No.
Oh, building placement.
He has to repair like mad if he wants to get the Vulture out, and he can't make anything else. I mean, he's got enough gas that he can put down starports. He could actually even make a few wraiths, but he can't do much else. Oh man, this factory just barely gets out with one Vulture, but it's a slow Volt against Speed Ling, so it can't do anything. What is Oxer going to respond with? He's going to respond with one Hatch Lair and a Hydra Den, so we might see some Lurkers here. He's trying to pick off and surround this Vulture. The factory's re-landing, but that is not the place to re-land, man! Oh god. Oh god, no! The factory! He's got to lift it again and repair. He can't make anything. Oxerg is suddenly right back in this game. This is why you got to think about things like building placement so critically. Poetic did not expect this from Oxerg, but Oxerg is a savvy player and is causing major problems for Poetic. He's getting Hydras right now. Oh, that's going to be so strong. He can't build anything. He's going to lose. He's going to die to Hydra follow-up. He can repair the bunker, but there's going to be too many Hydras attacking it. And then the Hydras can go but to the bottom of the bunker and like shoot the command center and stuff. I think he's going to die to the follow-up.
Man. If you hit the nail on the head. When new players wonder why Brood War players are just obsessive about building placement to the point of it essentially being fetishistic, it's for games like this, where there's no reason to not place a building somewhere. Like, or you can place it wherever you want. There's no cost to putting it in a certain location. So if you can gain a minor advantage by moving the building over a little bit, you got to take all the minor advantages you can get. And in this game, the minor advantage turned out to be really relevant. In that bunker is just a little bit too far to the right to protect the gas and to protect the buildings he had down. And the supply depots, they block a run-by, but the run-by wasn't the important thing here. Alright. We have another command center, but I don't think he's going to be able to expand to his natural anytime soon.
No, definitely not. There's going to be Lurkers made soon, and there's going to be, guess how much detection there's going to be. If you said 0, you're right on the mark. If he doesn't die to the Hydras outright, he'll die to the Lurkers, which are going to be done in 15-20 seconds. Trying to make SCVs a little faster, but Yeah. No range Marines, but no range Hydras, so you know.
The SUV can't get around the Hydra, so it has to just hide there.
Yeah.
And now here comes.
Oh, there's a tank out. Wait, there's a tank out. Okay, that'll actually make this a pretty strong army. He's got to pull back if he wants to morph his Lurkers. But still, the Lurkers are going to be such a problem. There's 0 detection. There's not a turret. There's not an academy. There's not a comsat. There's nothing at all. There's a siege tank, though. That could stop 1 or 2 Lurkers running in. I say could, but it's going to be tough.
Right. So, Oxerg is still dirt poor.
Wait, is that it? No, it's not.
He only has 1 base. He has 30 supply. He only has enough money to make 2 Lurkers.
Oh, it's going to grow fast. This one might go down. No, it gets under. It gets under. Oh, no. If he denies the bunker, this is so good for him. It's forced to cancel.
Come on. Come on,
Oh,
sick.
man.
Sick microchicks. Bomb the Lurker. SCV
Yeah,
bomb the Lurker.
He's gonna do
You
it.
can do
He's
it.
not.
I have
Here
faith
we
in
go.
you.
3 Lurkers are charging in right now.
Perfect.
The Marines, they need to pull back now, and they do, but the reaction is too slow, and the tank itself could go down, but Oxerg is pushing in further with the Lurkers. Another one sieging up, gets off 1 siege tank shot. Now some Lings are pouring in as well to support these Lurkers, but they can't run in yet with these tanks here. We might see everything. Yeah, here we go. Everything is coming in. The back Lurkers will probably... Whoa, that Lurker did not work out correctly at all. So Poetic is actually holding on here, but now the Lurker's coming on top of this tank. They're burrowed, and there won't be time for the other siege tank to shoot. He could sacrifice the siege tank to get 1 more shot off. Doesn't do it. And now he's getting pushed back further and further. The Academy is up. He can drop the comsat. It might just be in time, and if he holds, he'll be okay economically. He'll still have issues, but nope, he just GG's. I thought maybe the comsat was gonna finish. Oh, actually, Oxerg had gotten ahead in resources. That's surprising. I don't know how that happened. Maybe 8 racks and not having the greatest economy, but still, that's surprising.
I really wanted to see Poetic attack his own SCVs to splash the Lurkers.
Just kill the Lurkers, yeah. Super ninja tactics. Super ninja tactics.
Alright. So, That brings our score 3-2.
And they had to face
Move
Busy.
in 6-set. Yeah, Busy versus Taro. Alright, game's hosted. Alright. Moving in to what could potentially be the last game of the day if Busy is able to take it. Or, not get last game of the day, excuse me. The last game of the match.
There's a possibility that some viewers may recognize this map.
Slight chance. In the bottom left, we have Busy playing as the Teal Terran. In the bottom right, we have Entaro playing as the White Protoss.
So anyone know about this Intaro guy? Like what rank he is? How Gosu he is? Etc. etc.
I do not.
Busy side is up with a 3-2. Busy is chilling at, we'll just call that the 7 o'clock. And Intaro is at the 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. And that should be about right.
So, I guess we're continuing the trend today of not having any repeat matchups.
Yeah?
Like, if next matchup is a ZVZ?
What
No.
is no
No, that's not right. We had one repeat. We had 2 PvPs, my bad.
what is next matchup? If it was
If-
the ace match, it would be Darko against Cleo, so we would have PVT.
Alright.
Alright, so Intaro, the big unknown, can he come up with a huge win here? He needs a huge win to even bring it to ace, although ace would still be tough because Darko has to face Glio, and Glio seems pretty strong as he rolled over Vadi with little difficulty. Gonna be real tough, I think, for AoV to win this one.
So, we alluded to the map a lot. I don't think we actually explicitly said the map is Fighting Spirit. So, as standard a map as standard gets. You can do all your basic strats on it. It's got the nice natural. It's got an easy third. It's got some doodads in the middle, but relatively speaking, it's pretty much just open in the middle. It's everything you want out of a really safe map. And there's a reason. I mean, it's super standard, and everybody makes jokes about how standard it is, but there's a reason it's super standard. It's because it's a really solid map. So, interestingly, you're going to have both players just not scout. And this is a matchup where scouting is less important compared to some other matchups, but this is still rather late.
Busy's popping out an SCV. Yeah, scouting's really late from Protoss.
Both players, I guess, just completely... man, both players not only didn't scout at all, but also went for rather greedy builds. I mean, we're just seeing a single Marine out so far, and skipping Zealots completely on Protoss side. If either player had cheese, the cheese would have been really successful, and they wouldn't have known about it. Interesting. And, ooh. Wow, we have the SEV get close, but then change directions. So it looks like Busy just outthought himself there.
No, the
Gonna
only
end up...
skipping Zealot is greedy in PvT. No, it's not. What? What?
I think it is a little bit if you're not scouting at all.
Oh,
Like, if you get
eh.
bunker rush, you just lose.
Yeah, but that's really uncommon. Like, I mean, I guess in that sense, but bunker rush is so rare. Like, I don't think of that. I don't think of that as particularly greedy.
And that's why I did it. I'm totally fine with not building the Zealot early, but I think if you're not going to build the Zealot early, you should scout.
But honestly, even if you scout and it's bunker rush, it's too late to do anything unless you like scout through the middle or something.
All right, fair enough.
Because even if you scout them on the first position, it's too late to go back and say, oh, I want to build a Zealot, unless it's like a pylon scout right away. So it's kind of like, you pretty much have to have it in your mind that you want to build a Zealot or you don't. Like, yeah, if you want, like, I guess it's greedy in the sense of, you know, I'm willing to accept the risk that I might get bunker rush and it'll be hard to defend, but it's pretty standard, I would say, to like most of the time. Whoa, that was really scary for Intaro. FD's coming out. He's only got one Dragoon right now. He's got one kind of back here. This is a bit concerning. I think he might have gone 2 Goon Nexus. Oh no, never mind. He went 21 Nexus, or he did something like 21 Nexus, but his Dragoon timing is a little bit late, as Busy's FD is already almost there. One Dragoon has been really softened up as it got walked on by tanks and Marines. Walked right on top of it. He's going to have the 4 Goons out, so he should be okay if the micro is good. We'll see how it is, though. Busy pressing in now, laying one mine. Maybe he's not going to push the issue. He does have a few mines up. Probes are pulled right off the line, and Intaro's is going to try to bust this, but this is going to result in the loss of a lot of probes, and a mine appears to go off on the Dragoon, so a lot of them are soft, but it looks like the Dragoons are getting the job done. Maybe not, though. Mine goes off again, trying to drag into the tank, doesn't get it, and this SD is suddenly doing a lot of damage. He's going to have to evacuate the natural. He can still get rid of this. He has to be careful of that one mine, though, and he can't necessarily pull it either, because the tank there, if he tries to move back, there we go. Now the tank's far away enough, he can get rid of that mine. So he is going to hold on to his natural nexus, but remember, that was a lot of lost probes early in the game. And we can see he does not have 1 probe per patch right now, so Intaro is going to be in a really unpleasant position.
Oh.
Oh, he's got a few in the natural now. Never mind. He transferred some over.
Okay, it just occurred to me. Is Intaro, like, supposed to be what the Zealots say occasionally?
Yeah, the Intaro Dune, I think that's what it's supposed to be, yeah.
Okay. Like, it just dawned on me that it was that. I just assumed it was something in whatever country he's from.
Yeah.
But it's probably that.
I was going to say, the one good thing Intaro has going for him is that he's not Zerg, as Busy is, like, several levels better at TVZ than TVP, but Busy's strong in both matchups. But at least Intaro isn't a Zerg.
Alright. Getting a little bit sidetracked here, but by chance, is there any, like, super nerdy StarCraft guys in the chat who knows what Intaro translates to? Like, who speaks Protoss?
Is it supposed to translate to something? I thought it was just like a greeting.
Well, like, Adune's their planet, so I assume Intaro Adune is like, all hail Adune, or Lord Adune, or like Adune greeting. Be safe. But I, like, what actually is his name? Is his name just Be Safe? That'd be funny. That's an okay name, Be Safe.
Alright, here comes 4 tanks. It's 4 tanks against 5 goons with Vulture support. This is going to be bad for Intaro. He's only got 2 gates. He's got a Reaver, though. Okay, he's got a Reaver. He might have speed in that shuttle, does he? He needs to get that Reaver down there if he wants to defend, but if there's siege, this will be ugly. This is almost going to be like... If there isn't siege, it's going to be like a PvP fight. If the Reaver gets down there, he's got to pull one of these goons back at the front. No, actually, he kills all the mines somehow, but he's losing everything else, and he's going to harass with the Reaver. What? What? I guess he's going to hope there's nothing back and he can do damage. He evacuates the natural. At least he doesn't lose the probes, but the natural nexus is, of course, going to go down. And wait, now he's come back with the shuttle, but he may have come back too late, as there are mines down, and there are Marines to pick off the shuttle. He's going to drop. Can he drag any of the mines? He gets rid of a few, but the Reaver takes a hit, and oh, Busy targets it down. I think this is going to end soon for Intaro. It's 2 goons against 4 tanks from Busy. There could be Vulture reinforcements. I don't know where they are, though, and why they're not coming, but the natural nexus is rapidly losing health. There's a probe chilling in Busy's base. Oh, at least he picks off 1 tank. He's trying for a second. He gets it. So Intaro's showing okay control here, but...
Alright. Shoutouts to the guy who linked in chat. Intaro means in honor of.
Okay.
So his name is in honor of AoV. I'm okay with that. It's pretty sick. I like it. But yeah, you're right. Sick name aside, he's in a lot of trouble right now. Supply blocked, really far behind in terms of economy and supply, and I mean, it's not even like, well, I lost everything. Maybe I can get a 30-kill Reaver because he doesn't have his Reaver anymore. He lost that too.
And Busy has a 3rd CC already made. This is one of these awkward situations where Protoss is so far behind, Busy can kind of do a timing attack with an expand at the same time and still have it be a effective attack.
Yeah. I'm actually looking around. Busy doesn't have... Like, I'm trying to find Busy's army. Like, there's 4 tanks.
It's probably all he has.
Yeah, he really doesn't have that big of an army. I guess his supply advantage is just all in the SCVs, which he clearly has quite a healthy number of.
Going up to 6 facts now. All right, now he's made another Reaver, and he's got a few Zealots coming out. Whoa. Probe getting picked off, and Terran has his 3rd base before Protoss has even started his... In fact, technically, Terran has his 3rd base before Protoss even has his natural nexus. So that tells you something about the economic state of affairs in this game right now.
A little rough. Just a tad. Alright. So, shuttle's moving out now.
It is a speedy shuttle.
Interesting that he bothered to finish the speed. But I get all in on the harass, I guess. It's got to do something. It's got to do something big. There is 1 missile turret there, but the Reaver can easily get down. Oh, nope, not going to mind drag into the probes. There he goes, drops the Reaver. Is he going to get...
Oh my god, that was a pitiful shot.
Not getting the big hit.
You see the Scarab goes off and it hits the end SCV. It only kills 1. And he loses 2 Zealots. Almost lost the shuttle though, just got out in time. Almost lost the Reaver too. Took 2 tank shots. So I think Busy's just going to build up a little more stuff, and he's going to go be like, alright, goodbye. 2 Reavers now in the shuttle for Mintaro, which is kind of nice for defense, but...
So... I don't want to rag on him too badly, but when the Terran has more factories than you do Dragoons, it might be a bad sign. Just a little bit.
Solid 8 factories. Starport coming online for Busy now.
Yeah, Busy doing everything right here. He's gonna play this really safe. There's no reason to try to push the issue now. And
Mintaro shuttling out the probe.
Nice. Dragoons are at least going to push back the vultures a little bit here. There is an obs out, so he can clear the mines. Doesn't need to do any fancy tricks to clear them out this time around. But the tank force should be coming any time now from Busy. There we go, just moving out now. And yeah, he needs the most effective Reaver control of his life to have a chance against this. But even so, there's still...
If there weren't the Reavers, I'm pretty sure Busy could just A-move. With the Reavers, I don't know if he can quite A-move.
Yeah, he might. It's kind of close. Oh, there goes the Reaver.
Alright, now Busy can just A-move this. Doesn't have to do anything else.
Okay.
And Busy is taking his time.
Yeah, it's hard for me to criticize someone for being overcautious.
But he is being overcautious.
But this is pretty fucking overcautious. Really, 2 turrets? We need 2 turrets with all the Goliaths and the mines and whatnot. So...
Well, you know, there's those Protosses that when they're losing, they go to each gateway and click K, 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 K. And see, let's hope what happens. Yeah, he doesn't even have archives. Oh god, mines! Is he trying to do a counterattack? Like what? There's no tanks up there, but it is walled off, so all he has to do is send 2 tanks up and life is good.
Oh, oops.
And Busy is taking this so seriously, he's like actually like unsieging and... Just A-move! Now you're definitely at the point of A-movability. Alright, so the Vultures are kind of now A-moving these Dragoons. They actually need the tanks to get up here to kill them if he's not going to lay mines to do this. Like, I would say this is an efficient engagement, but Busy's just got a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So, does manage to kill off most of the goons here. The rest of them are I know they're kind of retreating, but they might end up going
Intaro
in
was
here.
showing nice army control. Now he's going for it. He's trying to clean up this army of Busy. He's sort of doing it. But of course, Busy's got another pile of like 10 tanks and 10 vultures back at the natural. Oh, mine going off, picks off 2 of Intaro's goons. And JJ!
GG.
So SB Pain will be your winners of that clan war 4-2.